Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I will keep it real. Just a little bit different. I won't say nervous, but I have guests in the studio today. So, my usual rhythm is off. So the fact that I hit that joke drum thing is amazing. Today is Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. Thank you for joining us in the Java Cafe. My name is James Jimmy Hills. I'm your host. It's Testimony Tuesday. I have a young man here that my testimony about him is I honestly don't remember. I would say within maybe the last 2-3 years or so, minimum 2, most 4 years, I've noticed his presence online on social media. And we're going to talk about my first impression. His logo made me think one thing, and then I got clarity around it as I started following him more. I call him kind of national or international because if you follow him, you'll see him on a beach one week. You'll see a variety of people in his brand. But also, I think I know we're going to learn about how his life experience contributed to the name of the brand. And so it is an honor and a privilege. Before I do that, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and hit that share button. Invite somebody else into the Java Cafe. A young person is thinking about going into business. A young person, and we'll get into this, who may not have their dad for various reasons. I think a lot of what's going to come out of some of what's going to come out of today will be an opportunity to hear a brother's struggle, but also accomplishments. Like I referred to the fact that this dude's and yes, it's social media, whatever, but the consistency says something. And so we're going to get into his story. I won't say too much yet, but he has a guest here with us as well. And I know at some point there's going to be something that happens where you'll find out who she is. I know there's one thing that may happen. She came prepared to support her. Well, I done said it. His mom is here, and we may see her in a couple of seconds. But all the mothers, what's your name, mother? All the mothers there's a whole bunch of mothers that are like church mothers and then mothers. So all the mothers in the room, please say hello and welcome Miss Karen into the Java Cafe. That way, when Cuddy goes back and looks at are you on Facebook? Miss Karen is on Facebook too. So when she goes and watches this, you all say hi, Miss Karen, so she can like it. And then you'll find out that all of them will start hitting you up and checking on you. And then they'll talk about, we're going to add you to the prayer list. These mothers don't play. Anyway, mother is here, so we have to honor her. But he whom she birthed is here as well, and our special guest this morning. And so I want to present to some and introduce to others. He won't give me the full government, so I'm just going to say what I see on social media. Cuddy, who is the CEO, founder of Rich in Blood Clothing Apparel, or which one is it? We're ready. Clothing apparel. Do if you want, pull the mic closer to you. I should have did that. Clothing apparel. Okay. Say something again to make sure you're good with the sound. Yep, you're all set, brother. You're good. Look good, sound good as well. So I've noticed you on social media the last couple of years, and it's been amazing to see the journey. But there's so much more behind you. So we're going to get into your story a little bit, but please go ahead. Say hello, greet the audience, and I'm going to ask you to give me one word for grinding in 2025. How would you describe the hustle and the grind in 2025? But go ahead and greet the audience, say hello, and then we'll also get
my name is Cuddy, founder of Rich in Blood. For 2025, it feels like, to me, it feels like when I was a teenager again, because I feel like, when I was a teenager, that's when I was really in it. You know what I mean? So when I hustle, it takes me back to when I was coming up, teenager years, you know what I mean? So I turn all that pain into, positive with these clothes. So that's how
hold on. You see, he's getting right into the work right away. So let me stack it up for you a little bit. When you talk about Rich in Blood and pain, and we're going to go back a little bit, and I say this to my guests and I say it online to them all the time. He's going to share a part of his story that one for him and mother, and maybe, folks listening as well about, losing his dad and how that happened. So if at any point, either one of you two need to step out or go to commercial, let me know. And if you're watching as well and need to step away, do that as well. And so let's go. I know we're from the same community, same hood, same bricks, which is Bromley Heath. It's now, with all due respect, it's Mildred Haley. And shout out to Lisa and everybody and Chill and all them, the whole family. I don't want to get into naming names. I know that part about you. I know that you said the old side that you were there. So take us back to, where you can remember and tell us who Cuddy is. And also tell us, because I thought Cuddy was a nickname. You said it's your government, right?
No, I mean, it's
okay.
like a government because
Okay.
I was born with the name Cuddy. You know
Okay.
what I mean? It was like a nickname that carried over to the streets.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. So take us back to, either how did you get the nickname, or take us back to your earliest memory of who Cuddy is.
I mean, Cuddy's my real name's Nashon. You know what I mean? But Cuddy's a go-getter, Cuddy's a go-getter. Cuddy's a real person. Cuddy been through real things, So that's Cuddy,
What and Cuddy is also what's the word? I'm trying not to look at his mom. I want to be intentional about extracting. You say went through real things. What are some of the, without too much of crying, and you being comfortable to share as you want, what are some of those real things that informed that in you said your word was teenager to some extent of,
so Cuddy
let's go.
So
Yep.
Cuddy, my teenager years, Cuddy was the kid who had worked for Red Shirts, BYCC, and changed that money into hustling money. You know what I mean? Buying cars, jewelry, you know what I mean? Avorexes.
Wait a minute, that we definitely dating ourselves. Avorexes, yeah.
I used to go to Mr. Allen.
Did you have a Did you have an 8-ball?
No.
That may not. That's my generation. Never mind. Go ahead.
I had an Averex. You know what I mean? Used to go to Mr. Allen. You know what I mean? Cuddy's a go-getter. Cuddy's a leader. You know what I mean? Always had a dream. You know what I mean? I just didn't know when. So that's Cuddy.
Part of who Cuddy is, as well as you've mentioned, as I've mentioned, and we're going to talk about it, that you had lost your dad. Not lost. Your dad transitioned through some horrific, tragic circumstance. Where you're comfortable. Tell us about that. How old were you? And tell us a little bit about your dad as well.
My father's name is Nathaniel Lackland, born in Jamaica Plain, Bromley Heath, as you know. He died in 1991, June 5th, by the Boston police. He was special, you know what I mean? I mean, his friends are around, OGs from my neighborhood, you know what I mean? He was special. He was the type of dude that stayed in the house for 5 years, hustling, never came out, you know what I mean? Wasn't scared, but just was hustling, you know what I'm saying? He had his good days, he had his bad days, you know what I mean? Pictures on the wall. So I looked up to the pictures in my house, My mother had my father around, her, you know what I mean? Telling me stories that inspired me to be great, you know what I mean? And I always wanted to do something different instead of keep selling drugs, you know what I mean? I was in state prison, you know what I'm saying? I gave him 8 years of my life, 2 state bids, did a year in the county. This last bid I did 3 years talking on the cell phone, and I just wanted different, you know what I mean? I didn't want to come home doing the same thing, knowing I got 2 kids that needs me, you know what I mean? And I missed 8 years out of my daughter's life, going back and forth to prison, you know what I mean? And I just wanted different, you know what I mean? So I just start selling clothes, you know what I mean? And, people talk about supporting your city. I don't really feel that, you know what I mean? I feel like I get love everywhere, you know what I mean? Whether I go to Boston, Brockton, New Bedford, you know what I mean? Cape Cod, you know what I mean? Out of the States, you know what I mean? So I kind of don't look at that, you know what I mean? So that's just what it is.
There's so many questions. And for those of you that watch and know, I'll have one thing in my mind, and then when Cuddy starts talking, a whole bunch of other questions come to mind. First thing is, do you get your hustle from your dad?
My mother's a hustler too, though.
Yep.
I feel like I get it from both sides.
Okay.
But I feel like,
what's the difference between the two?
The difference between the two, I mean, my father was ill because he taught my mother and she taught me. You know what I mean? So I feel like it it passed down like that off the tree. You know what I mean? So if it's a tree and it's a branch, it got passed down like that. You know what I mean? My father gave my mother that, and my mother gave me that gift. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. You know, I learned a lot from my mother, you know. So if anybody say a woman can't raise a man or a kid, they're wrong. You know what I mean? Like my mother raised me. So when I got in the game as a teenager, she always told me, don't mess this name up. As far as you know, my father got killed, you know what I'm saying? He had a good name when he died. You know, don't mess that name up. You know what I mean? So that always stuck with me. You know what I mean? You know, before I left the house, my mother always told me, don't go to the store for the older dudes around my way. You know what I mean? Because my mother always looked at me like a king, a leader. So you don't go to the store for these dudes. You know what I mean? So, you know, that stuck with me too. You know what I mean? And even with the rich and blood, you know what I mean? My mother instilled in me where I'm not cocky, I'm just confident. My whole life, you know what I mean? I was born with that gift to just be confident, whatever I do, you know what I mean? So, and that's how I take it with the rich and blood. Even in the streets, I wasn't really cocky. I was just confident. You know what I mean? Like I had $10 bags. I mean, we could talk about this 25 years. I had $10 bags, Reggie, Arizona. The bags was like a Christmas bag. You know what I mean? For $10.
Did you say Reggie?
Yeah, it was. I mean,
Jesus, that's a
I was
cuss word now.
teenager.
I'm saying back
Yeah.
then. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm
Back
sorry.
then, it was 25 years ago. But
We don't know
just,
nothing about that, mother. Go
that's
ahead.
it's just a gimmick. You know what I mean? So, you know, people's having dime bags. I got my dime bags might be a 30 bag for $10, but it's just a gimmick.
Yep.
That's just like with Rich and Blood. Like I know my audience. You know what I mean?
So all right. Again, I had a whole bunch of other questions in the first set, and now I have a whole different a different set now. And so Rich and Blood and the internet. I say international, and you talk about not being cocky but confident. I see that. It jokingly. I said to you earlier before we went live, I said, like, I was joking saying a little bit of Hollywood. And what I mean by that is the way you present yourself is you see that confidence in the brand, how on one day it'll be a sister with something on and she's chilling and whatnot. The next day it's a 60-year-old white man in a whole jumpsuit. One day you're on a beach and feet are up and you're seeing the ocean. You see that in the presentation. Let's go back a little bit to the hustle and your mom. Your mom is sitting here. I'm not going to pull on you too much, but I see the relationship. I agree with you that I'm proof that a single mom can do it.
Yeah.
Hard, with all due respect, mother, and my mother as well. Hard as hell, but it is possible. Talk about your children. If you don't have to say their names and whatnot, but how old are they? How old are your
I
kids?
mean, I got a daughter who's 17.
Okay.
I got a son who's 8.
Okay. How is it going with the 17-year-old daughter in 2020?
It's different. Yeah, it's different. Man.
It is different. I was just saying to you beforehand that you know this generation is very different. So a few things, you know, with the transition of your dad in 91 and your mom being the one that implemented what he taught her.
Mm-hmm.
You transition that from hustle in the game, going back to what you said, your teenage years. So presumably that was your teenage years where you grind and you hustled. The transition now is into being a full-fledged entrepreneur.
Yeah. That's the goal.
Where I think it's you're achieving it.
Yeah.
What was the day, the night, on the phone, on the bus, in the car? When did Rich and Blood become a thought? And tell us from the thought to the concept to the day you saw your first piece in real life. Take us on that journey for a couple of seconds.
So Rich and Blood, I used to get into trouble. I mean, not a lot of trouble. And I used to, you know, in and out of jail, go to Nashua Street, 60 days, bail out. Did a year in South Bay. So Rich and Blood was in 05. I was with my boy. We was on 6-2 in Nashua Street, 2005. 6-2. And we was just reminiscing, you know what I mean? And I just was telling him one day, like, man, I'm Rich and Blood, you know what I mean? But he never understood it, you know, because he was a Blood. I'm not a Blood or a Crip. I'm from Bromley, you know what I mean? So he never really understood it. But I think Rich and Blood really came to me when I got shot, you know? And then, you know, I got shot 10 times, you know what I'm saying? I don't know who shot me, you know what I mean? But when I live, you know, and see my mother there, you know what I'm saying? And my mother was crying, and I told her, I don't cry because you're making me weak. You know, so she had to lift up her tears, you know what I'm saying? And when I made it out, man, I'm like, man, I'm rich in blood. You know what I mean? Because rich in blood ain't about money. Rich in blood's about like loyalty, pain, you know what I'm saying? Family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, it's a pure heart. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? If a person can't relate to what I've been through, you know, rich in blood's a pure heart, you know?
You know, no pun on
No snakes around.
no snakes around.
You know?
I want you to go deeper with that, but when you hear the brand name Rich in Blood, you think about, you know, well, I don't know if it's our boy, but my boy, I like him, Kendrick. It's in our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you did attribute the fact that it came from both of your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so you do see the confidence. There is an air about you that is confident. But when you talk about the purity of heart, that I think, you know, I think people can see that as well. Heart, blood. I love I mean, come on, let's keep it 100. Red is part of your brand and rich in blood and red blood. So that all just kind of clicks for me.
But when I mean a pure heart, I mean like, you know, you ain't forgetting about your loved ones who's in the dirt, you know, in the cemetery. You know what I mean? My father been dead 34 years. I still put down flowers.
Yes,
you know what I mean? I got friends in the cemetery. I still put down flowers. You know what I mean? We send money to the jails, you know? So, you know, that's a pure heart, you know, because people been dead in the cemetery. It don't be flowers. It don't be tombstones. You know what I mean? So for you to go to the cemetery and, you know, you clean off somebody's plot, you know what I mean? You go in the wintertime. I feel like that's a pure heart. You know what I mean? I feel like you ain't betraying your peoples, your family. You know what I mean? That's a pure heart. It's hard to find that. You know what I mean?
So it's interesting because when you think of the term pure of heart, I immediately went to you and seeing that
You rich in
you're
blood.
pure.
You know what I mean? You brought me
Yo,
here. That's
yo,
a pure heart,
Well,
man.
come on, it ain't
We
about
didn't know
me.
each
It's
other
about
from a can of paint. You know what I mean?
we're going to get into some of our connections, old
Mhm.
side, new side, Nika, and all them. So wait a minute. I have to bring out that point when you talked about purity of heart. Typically, when you hear that term, I'm saying that about you, but your purity of heart is actually about others.
Yeah, it's about other people. You know what I mean? It ain't really about me. Like I said, I just want the world to have this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not competing with my state, Boston. My competition is like with Nike, Adidas. You know what I mean? Like, I see what they did to FUBU. You know what I mean? So that's my competition. Essential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody in my community, Boston, Massachusetts, that's not my competition. That's why I'm in my own lane. I'm in my own bubble. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. I mean, and honestly, like I said, the reason why I say just a kid from Bromley, you know what I mean? Jamaica Plain, you know what I
Bruh,
mean? I mean,
Come on.
LeBron James was the first person that ever said that. I feel like I'm the second person to say that, right? But I say that because even when I was in prison, and that's no disrespect to nobody in my city, the radios never say Jamaica Plain. And that bothers me because it's talent out there.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Basketball. We got people who went to college. You know what I mean? I mean, that's how I feel. You know what I mean? Because JP don't get that proper support. So I feel like me being rich in blood, I'm always gonna say JP. I say Boston though,
Yes,
so
sir.
that means other parts of the boroughs. You know what I mean? But it's Jamaica Plain because that's those are my roots.
And I
And I
understand.
blame it on the radio station because I feel like the radio station is supposed to be saying JP, Roxbury, Mattapan, Hyde Park. You know what I mean? Like they don't even put JP there, and there's special people there from Miss Haley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Miss Haley, I put Miss Haley up there with Obama. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And only people in Bromley knows about that.
And that is from every
She got
community.
her own name on come on, the
Yeah.
legendary block.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's just like it's always gonna be a special place to me.
And we need to make sure, you know, I've seen on the Bromley page, and we can go down here for a minute. I've seen on the Bromley page, and I actually heard about it. It was either in the 18 or 19, you know, about shared like market rent and shared space and all that other stuff. And there's a lot of development going on over there. And often it's presented, you know, it's for the good of the neighborhood and whatnot. You know, when you bring in people lighter than me, you know, the police come quicker, streets are clean quicker, and all that other stuff. And I just, first of all, the confidence and the purity of heart you have for Bromley, I believe anybody from any family, any hood feels the same way about their community because
but those are my roots. My mother's from there. My father's from there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like Those are my roots.
Do you remember me at all? Because I can't put us together. And again, there's a 12-year difference. You might be a little bit older
41.
than me. But I'm trying to see your face. And I'm sure, I don't know if you remember Gina. She was on the old side, light skin. She was related to Linda Galloway and them. So anyway, it'll come together. Yeah. That was
R.I.P. to Linda.
part of our yes,
Yeah.
recently. Yep.
Yeah.
And shout out to Veronica, Donna,
Bob.
all the okay. All right. We're going to sit up here and have a whole early what Carlton talked about the other night. Family Day. That's coming up as well.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And everyone will say this about their community, but I'm going to say it about ours because that's where we grew up.
Yeah.
It's a tight-knit community.
It's family, man.
It is, and it is family, and that in the commitment to wanting to represent your hood and oh God, represent your hood. Let's go back. Okay. Few things here. Let's go back a little bit. I love the piece about the fact that you're not in competition with people.
Yeah.
I
want people to know that I'm not a gatekeeper. I help out. It's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not in competition with my city or my state. My competition, once again, is Polo, Adidas. You know what I mean? Stuff, the top brands. You know what I mean? So we can make it out. You know what I mean? But I'm passionate about this. You know what I mean? This is a sport for me. You know what I mean?
You can definitely see that, and it not to go down that road too much, but. And it's not just Boston, but again, we can only reference to our experience, our hood, our love, our growing up, and then also the city. And, Boston can be like other cities. It can be interesting at times.
It's looking good, though.
It is looking good.
Music, the clothing lines,
Bruh, we got people out here repping.
We're looking good, you know what I mean? But, Boston, I feel like it's always going to be divided. You know what I mean? It sounds messed up, but it's the truth. You know what I mean?
If you let me challenge you a little bit.
Yeah.
If you had the ability to implement 3 things in Boston that would bring us together around industry, and I know you're not political. I often say if you flush the toilet, if you send your kids to school, if you ever dealt with the police, you're political because you're dealing with these city entities. If you had the money and you can implement a policy or a hood piece or whatever, and whatever the third piece you want, give me 3 things that you think we need to do, or if you had the power to do, that would bring us together. Again, industry, Black agenda around politics, and then the third space would be the Black family component, and it's variations of family components today. So if you could do those 3 things to change and unify us, what would those be?
You mean for the younger crowd, right?
Yeah. Yes, but some of us old heads need some guidance in unifying. Because the thing is, if the old ones do it, it sets the example for the younger ones. So however you want to answer, if you had the magic wand, the $1 million or whatever, what are 3 things that you would implement to unify?
I mean, I feel like for the kids, for the youth, but 24 to 15, I feel like it need to be like more like functioning going on, more like community centers, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like more trying to help these kids and let these kids know it's not a game, you know what I mean? Because you could lose your life, you know what I mean? You can go to jail and like your friends won't be there, you know what I mean? A few of them will be there, you know what I mean? But they'll see you when you get back out, you know what I mean? So I feel like it need to be more sports involved, you know what I mean? Basketball. I feel like, with the comedians, you know what I mean? The Jonathan Gates, you know what I mean? If kids want to be into that world, you know what I mean? He can have a class for them, you know what I mean? Where they can go. You want to be a comedian? It's a class, you know what I mean? The content creatives, you know what I mean? I feel like it should be a class for them. The top dude, the top guy is what? Mike D.
That so brother,
I feel like he should have a class, for the people who want to be in his shoes, you know what I mean? Helping them out, giving back to them, you know what I mean? And, I mean, it'll be better. More BNBL, basketball, football, you know what I mean? Baseball, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's supposed to feel like when Tom Menino was around, because I remember them days. So that's what I could tell you. If you want, that's how Boston should feel when Menino was around. When Menino was around, it was everything. We had jobs, red shirt jobs, BYCC, you know what I mean? It was good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if it can get back to that, I mean, but I think we're going in the right direction with the city of Boston, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I was waiting because with the last few words, I was like, he's about to get not political. And we this is a realization in real time right now. Thank you. We have to figure out a way to stop demonizing politics. It really just means policy and how things are functioning right now, nationally and whatnot. It's all policy, and the impact of that is just ridiculous. And I told you it's 10:30 already, which is crazy. Yeah. There's a few spaces I want to go in based on what you just said.
But not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
I only said Menino because that was the only.
Okay, let's keep it 100. 20 years.
That was the only mayor I knew.
Yes,
that was the only mayor I knew. You know what I'm saying?
Valid.
So that's why. He was a good mayor.
Yeah. And also not politics, but just I always want to take, because I'm gonna pull stuff from you, some nuggets, and so I'll throw a little back at you as well. His first 4 years wasn't what we knew in his 12th year, and then his 16 years. He served 20 years, and so in that, and I worked for him directly for 3 years. Like, cubicle was here, the mayor would walk down, and you knew when to approach him. When not, if his hand was in his pocket and his head was down, don't say nothing to him, because something's going on. My point there is that we can, again, it goes to what I said about the hood, and it goes to other reference. We can only refer to what we know, and that's who we knew. So there's nothing that you got to, like, quote unquote justify about that. That's real. And a lot of people have said the same, and a lot of people have said the same thing. You know what I mean? So as far as where we've been, if it worked, keep it working. And then you mentioned the fact that we are going in the right direction. So how do we build upon, what's already in place? So just, that piece there, because folks, sometimes I delve in, to the politics. We talked about competition. You talked about young people in your magic wand. I want to challenge you a little bit to, if I were to ask you another word, how would you describe the state of men, particularly the state of men? Like, how are we as Black men, by your observation, by your experience, by your son, even at 8, talk to us about the state of Black men. We talked about young people and what needs to be in place.
I feel like it starts with your parents. You know what I mean? I feel like it starts with your parents. So if your parents wasn't there, I feel like, because nobody showed us how to be parents. We just learn as we go. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not a memo. It's not a book saying this is how you be a parent. You know what I mean? So you just go, you know what I mean? But I feel like as Black men, I feel like, especially if you've been in prison, you got shot, you got stabbed, you know what I mean? You hustle, it's hard. You know what I mean? They already make it hard for us because we're Black. You know what I mean? We're Black. They already make it hard for us. You know what I mean? So it's just like, we all deal with stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the men's group that, Joey's doing.
Yep.
It's good. You know what I mean? It's good for the community. You know what I mean? Because you need more brothers like that getting out of prison, helping other dudes. You know what I mean? Because we go through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That people really don't see.
Can I challenge you a little bit? Because I'm, like I said, I'm going to extract every nugget that I can get out of him while he's here. When you say we go through things, where you're comfortable sharing, what are some of those examples? Because one of the things that I've been having a lot of conversations with men all over these past 5.5 years, but I go through these perks where, like, the last 2 weeks, it's been intensely talking about us. What are some of the things that we go through that are unseen? And the reason I'm asking for your perspective with where you're comfortable is because the more I'm talking, the more I'm finding out I'm not the only one dealing with that. Different life experience, different way of life, and all that other stuff. But there's some commonalities that you and I share. With Black men, we know that if we get pulled over, whether I'm high yellow or whatever, if I'm not white. So what are some of those things that men deal with? One, they'll see that you're being transparent, and they can trust that it's cool to be transparent as long as they know they're in a safe space. This is definitely safe space. And two, I think just the more that brothers realize that it's just not them, because everybody doesn't have the advantage of yard time on Tuesday night for whatever reason. It's a thought, so I'm going to mention it and be my authentic self. You mentioned that there was a period that your dad stayed in for like 5 years. Some people would say that's isolation or something, and we deal with that.
He could have been dealing with mental health.
Come.
I mean,
go there is where you're comfortable. Let's go.
Sitting in the house for 5 years. You know what I mean? He got 3 different baby mothers, 3 kids. You know what I mean? I mean, whether he's rich, whether he's poor, you know what I mean? I mean, you go through a lot. And it's funny too, because I wasn't in the house for 5 years, but I feel like when I went through my struggles, I get low. You know what I mean? I be in the crib, I be chilling, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that was from my father, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really express my feelings on social media, you know what I mean? Because I'm not from this era. When I was coming up, it wasn't no social media. We had beepers, then we had Nextels, then we had Nokia phones, you know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like we all got some type of issues, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? You know, you shot, you stabbed, you in jail, you know what I mean? Like family, you know what I mean? You're dealing with your kids, you know what I mean? People want, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of stuff, you know, loyalty, people's disloyal, you know what I mean? So that comes with a lot. You know, you lose friends, you know, people who was here with you and then they disappear.
Mhm.
And then you wonder where they at? They in heaven. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's a lot for a black man.
Mhm.
They say we're supposed to die at 25. You know what I mean? I mean, my father died at 25. So the goal for me is to live 100 more years. You know what I mean?
Sir.
If it's possible, that's what it is, right? But
Let me pry a little bit and ask you on two spaces. And you mentioned being shot 10 times. That
mhm.
comes with trauma. There's physical healing. Have you done the shadow work? I would, listening to you and whatnot, I would say yes. But you also know that we as men, we can put on a good front. And when we get in them times that you mentioned of isolation,
I mean, like I said, I don't really talk to nobody. I just
uh-huh.
talk to my mother.
Okay. So you do have an outlet and
Yeah, you know, I
and
mean,
to
like, yeah, I mean, when I be
he
going
does.
through stuff,
Mother's sitting over there going, uh-huh.
when I be going through stuff, I talk to
Okay.
my mother.
Okay.
When I was in prison, she would come up, she would support me. I mean, especially the first 4 years of my life, she come every week. I mean, I remember one time I was in Walpole, she couldn't get in. My little sister came in, she sat in the car for a whole hour crying. You know what I mean? My little sister told me that. You know what I mean?
Did you know he knew that?
So my mother's my backbone. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, she had me at 17. My father got killed. She could have gave me up. You know what I mean? I could have went to foster care. My mother gave me the world, but only a little bit.
Mm.
Put a neck on the line for me. You know what I mean? So it ain't no money in the world I could repay my mother. You know what I mean? I'm like, I feel like bringing her here or bringing her to Mark Harris's. That's something. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Because I'm like, me and her loyalty, our love for one another, can't nobody break that. You know what I mean? And I mean that. You know what I mean, even when Rich and Blood go to the top, she gonna be a CEO and a manager. You know what I mean? And
Sir.
that's just what it is, you know?
It's interesting because generational wealth, they talk about passing it down. You talk about passing it back up and down.
Yeah. She
And
did a lot for me, man.
yes,
You know
sir.
what I'm saying? And she still this confidence in me. Even when I look at the pictures when I was a kid, my mother did that. You know what I mean? And you know, I mean, even when I was hustling, you know what I mean, it is what it is. I dropped out in 10th grade. I got a GED, you know what I mean? But I dropped out in 10th grade, you know what I mean? I started to hustle, you know what I mean? My mother caught a case and time was up for us. So I kind of had to step up for the man and you know what I mean, and pay bills and help her out while she worked at the Hennigan, you know what I mean, and be there for my little sister. You know what I mean? I got her about 15 years. I got my other sister about 6 years. And I mean, I kind of had to be the man of the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like other people's life ain't like my life, you know. My life was hard, you know what I mean? And it was just me and my mother, you know what I mean? And I find myself, you know what I mean? I had to get a job and you know what I mean? I had to do this, but I look at it, I'd be like, damn, I learned all that from my mother. You know what I mean? So with the clothing line, I'm happy because in the beginning, my vision was dark. You know what I mean? And when I say that, I mean that, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know, you know. Police is kicking in my door, you know what I'm saying? My mother's getting scared. You know, I got shot. My mother want me to move out the state. I'm like, nah, I ain't moving. I ain't running. You know what I mean? So I didn't really see my vision, you know what I mean? I mean, I lost friends and I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? But I knew one day it's gonna change.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna change. And I always was like, yo, I'm better than this. You know what I mean? You know, I got my mother, she's strong. Like, yo, listen, you know what I mean? What you going? Keep going to jail? You know, you got to be out here, you know what I mean? Like, I need you. So when I tell you my grinds like when I was a kid.
Yep.
Bromley know that. You know what I mean? Because
Yes, sir.
I was grinding.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So 2025, that's what it is. I feel like I'm a kid again. You know
Yes,
what I
sir.
mean? I feel like I got that hustle in me. And when I say a kid, I was 16, but I was living like I was 25.
Mhm.
So I'm 16 years old, but in reality, I'm like, it's 25. I'm school clothes shopping. You know what I mean? Buying my own clothes. I got my own car. I got a permit for claim. My mother put it in her name. I got my permit. You know what I mean? Then I got my license. You know what I mean? So this is a real story.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? This ain't nothing made up. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
It's rich in blood.
yeah, even we giving out book bags. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the process of that. I'm gonna donate 50 book bags to the less fortunate kids in my son's school. He probably won't get one because it's gonna go to the less fortunate.
Yep,
You know what I mean? Have pencils in there, erasers, notebooks. And I'm doing it by myself. You know what I mean? I wish I can do more, but in due time, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna give out 25 book bags, 25 to 30 book bags with a Rich and Blood logo to the less fortunate kids. God willing, we're gonna have the Christmas drive. You know what I mean? I'm doing that too.
I got some info for you on that.
Yeah, that's good though, because that's something I always wanted to do. You know what I mean? Even in prison, I said, yeah, I can't wait to get out. You know what I mean? I gotta give back. And yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm trying to do that in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? You can come Christmas, get 2 toys, depending on how many kids come. You know what I mean? 2 toys a piece. And you know what I mean? We enjoy it like that. You know what I mean? But that's for my peoples who's in heaven. You know what I mean? For the Miss Haley's.
Yeah.
For my friends, you know what I'm saying? My cousin Dame, you know what I'm saying? TP, CY, you know what I mean? I want to give back. So my man Gerard, you know what I'm saying? The whole Bromley, you know what I mean? When I give back, that's for them.
Yes, sir.
So they know Cuddy did that. Rich and
Yes,
Blood did that. You know what I mean? Because they always in my heart. All of them. 365, and I mean that.
Mhm.
And it's the truth. I got angels around me.
Yes, sir.
Like these waves in my head, it's angels all around me. So I'm good. I don't fear nobody. You know what I mean?
Wait. Never, ever in my entire life have I heard
And that's the
anybody
truth.
refer to the 360s as angels.
But I'm different. That's why I'm rich in blood.
You about to make me
You know
cuss.
what I'm saying? I'm different, man.
I just had to get that out. Sorry, y'all couldn't hear that on screen.
That's true though. I got angels all around me, so I ain't fear nobody. I ain't worried. You know what I'm saying? I do me. I'm in my own world. I'm in my own bubble.
So when I want to go back to one thing, Carlton and y'all say two, I say Joey.
Yeah, he watched me grow up. She know two. You know what I mean? Two was my cellmate. When I was watching that show and he was talking about Caesar, it's funny. It's funny because Planet of the Apes, he used to say he was Caesar, and he used to always tell me every night, yo, I'm going home. You know what I'm saying? And he's a good dude.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? I respect him. He met my mother. Whenever he could see my moms, we seen them at Chez Vu, you know what I mean? And it was all love, you know what I mean? And I watched him do a whole 360 with his life, you know what I mean? So when he was referring to Caesar, I'm like, Planet of the Apes. I mean, he used to literally tell the CEOs, yo, could you bring that movie back? And we already watched it for like 3 weeks in a row, like, you know what I mean? So I'm happy to see him out. I'm happy to see he followed his plan. And, I wish him the best, man. You know what I mean? Love is love. You know what I mean? I'm happy he's there with Chubbs. Supporting Chubbs, you know what I'm saying? In the right direction. And that's what it is.
It seeing that is dope.
And he didn't know me from a hole in the wall. He was working in canteen. I was getting a bag every week. So obviously he know I'm not a hooter.
Mother was looking out.
Yeah. Sure. Mother, Godfather, you know what I mean? And he was seeing me get a bag every week. Like I said, in my mind, he probably was like, I could move this dude in my room, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know how he was thinking. But I remember one day we was in the yard and he was talking to Chubbs. And like I said, Chubbs is my big bro, you know what I'm saying? And whatever Chubbs told him, like a week later, I was in the room with him, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, he treated me like family, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's for real, you know what I mean? And I'm always gonna have love for him, you know what I mean? Like I said, he met my mom, Joe, in jail, you know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, he's a good dude, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's for
both
real.
Of them. He's
Chubbs too, though. Definitely.
Yeah. Both of them, and I told you, y'all saw it on camera, but to sit here feet away from them, it was ridiculous.
I always told Chubbs, because Chubbs is older than Noriega, you know what I mean? So when I seen Drink Champs, it reminded me of Chubbs. So I
He
always
is
tell
so
Chubbs,
animated, dog.
man,
Oh
Nori
my God.
remind me of you. You feel me? Because that's Chubbs, yo.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I'm proud of him. You know, even when I be seeing him with his little bag and he got the Rich and Blood sticker. You feel me?
That's
I'm
how.
like,
So he was sitting here. He
yeah,
stood
you
up.
know
I
what
said,
mean?
yo, he's coming on this week.
Yeah, you know what I
Said
mean?
all the amazing
Yeah,
things
yo,
about
that's
you.
mad love, man.
Ah,
You know?
All right, we got about a good 20. I'm gonna keep you a little bit past 11, just a little bit. We talked about health, mental health. One of the things I bought Joey and I'm gonna say Carlton, but Chubbs up the other night was because I asked him a question and he talked about being not him scared. Oh, I asked him about what men are dealing with right now. Similar to you describing one word. I said, what's going on with men? He said they're scared. And I said, we delved a little deeper, and he said that it's really about the unknown.
Mhm.
I thought about that when you said that when you started, you said one thing quick and you moved on from it. You said that when you thought about this, you didn't know. Was it the confidence that you have that helped you conquer the fear? What made you take that step to do this? There's a lot of brothers, there's young
You mean
people
with the
out there
brand,
right now
right?
with the brand,
So
change your life, however you want to.
honestly, I never really looked up to nobody. You know what I'm saying? I looked up to my mother, my father, you know what I'm saying? I had a big bro in my neighborhood, his name's Free, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when I was a kid, I always had because of my mother, but he always told me too, yo, you a boss, you a king. You know what I mean? And that stuck with me. But honestly, with the clothes, and like I said, I don't want to be Nipsey Hussle. I always had waves, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had braids.
Always had angels.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But Nipsey inspired me, you know what I'm saying? Just to see a black person do what he did, he inspired me. I'll be real, you know what I'm saying? And I went to California, and the results we got out there with the clothes, I'm like, damn. And this is where he's from, you know what I mean? I even went to the marathon, you know what I mean? Because he inspired me. I mean, that's the truth, you know what I mean? To see what a black person is doing and they still keeping the marathon going, that's ill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we went to Las Vegas, we had good results, and I'm like, we rich in blood, you know what I mean? And that's just what it is.
I there's a couple of more things I want to get your input on.
But I don't but with the clothes too, I'm not scared to take a risk. I go up to anybody and promote this brand, whether they buy it or not. Can't nobody kill my spirit.
What about a young person? What about a man? Because I'll ask you things and you go right to the young people. What about those folks that right now have a plan in their head? They have an idea. They have a rich in blood, type of idea. They have a podcast idea. They want to do a simple cookout for their community or give a backpack, but they're afraid. They're afraid either of rejection. They're afraid of taking that chance. They're afraid of not having the resources.
Honestly, if you're afraid of rejection, I don't think this game's for you. For two, no.
Go a little deeper there.
No, I don't think the game's for you if you think if a person's gonna reject you and not buy your clothes because
more the community stuff, not so much the brand and clothes. We can go there, but I'm sorry. Thank you. It is entrepreneurship. It's anything.
You got to have confidence, though.
Okay,
you got to have confidence.
How do they get it though? Because it's easier said than done.
I mean, I was born with it. I feel like I was born with a gift, but
that's
I feel
not
like
fair. That's not fair. I don't know what I'm messing. I'm making light
because of my parents. You know what I mean? Because my mother's confidence too. She dancing to be her age. I'm like, man, you act like you 22. So it's confidence. It could.
Wait, hold on. Y'all need. I wish the lighting was right because y'all need to see his mother right now. The confidence that's going over there right now. She's sitting over in the chair going like this. Hold on. She's
sweatpants on, rich in blood.
The confidence is rocking in the chair over there.
Mother, it's like do you Jay-Z? Jay-Z got confidence. I looked up to Jay-Z.
You want to go say hi to the people? Go pop in the can and give him his Gatorade. And look, you see, hold on, y'all. You see the chivalry and the manners that she taught him. Now, most people would think that he would sit there and she'd come behind him and put, her hands on his shoulder. What did he do? He said, let me stand up. Come up on it, but fix the mic for her, brother. How you would turn the thing like right to her. Yep, you're good. And come up a little bit, mother. I've never had I've had guests there, but the guests come. Yeah. How describe your baby in one word?
He's my life.
He's your life. I'm going to do like I did with him. I'm going to extract out of you everything that I can get. To mothers out there right now that are struggling to have a king, I don't know when he became taller than you. You look like you would say to him, I don't care how big you get, the bigger you are. What did they used to say? The bigger you are, the harder you fall.
Yes.
What advice would you give to mothers who are struggling to raise, who are not struggling, who are doing their best to raise kings in this time in society? What advice would you give them?
Just always support them. Just always be real in your heart. When you know your child is living wrong, you always got to be real with them.
So let me, oh, Jesus, Lord. Let me get 3 more minutes with mother and we'll close out with you. No, because mother did, okay, 2 things. They say it starts at home. I've sometimes said and seen that I'm aware, because I used to be a youth worker. There are some parents that encourage and understand the benefits and the advantages of their children being in the game. Let's keep it 100 if you don't mind. That accountability, that love and support, as you said, always be there for them. But when you just said, if you know they're doing wrong, and I don't remember the exact words of how you handled it, how were you able to balance loving him through whatever and he's still holding his big, wonderful 6 foot whatever self accountable with the decisions he was making? How did you do that?
I feel like I always was honest with him and made him aware that I knew when he wasn't living correct.
Yep.
But always show love and always told him that I want to change for him. The change is for him, but it's what I want. I think I always pushed him.
Mm-hmm.
I never gave up. I never sat back and ignored. I knew it was always in him because it's in me.
See, that's that thing about the cheat code, and then his dad is what? When you say rich in blood.
Yes. His father was rich in blood as well as himself and myself. And I just pushed him. I just always made sure that I wasn't in the dark. When someone brought me something, some type of information, and I felt it wasn't sitting with my heart, I brought it to his attention. I just always wanted better for him, and I knew he can do better and give better to myself and himself, and to his kids. It was just something about my son. It was just something about him.
That is obvious. It's definitely.
For him to see me not give up, or for him to see me change my life, I knew he was going to change his life. So I sometimes if a parent is not living positive, then their kids won't see positive.
It goes back to what your son said. That I struggle with this notion because, when we look at violence, the young people acting up down in South Bay, 100 of them fighting and all that other stuff. We say it starts at home, and sometimes that comes off as a kind of negative critique. Your parents aren't doing your job and whatnot. And there's the balance of, you're kind of giving some credence to the fact that words matter. Parents can improve on supporting their children, but
Yes.
holding them accountable. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. You can love them. One of our tenets is the foundation is love. It's always love. Sometimes you're going to have to love from a distance. Sometimes you're going to have to practice tough love.
Yes.
Would you equate the tough love to the accountability?
Sometimes you can't give tough love. Depends on that child.
Okay, mother.
Because every child is
Is
different.
it? Yes.
Every
That's the
child
first
is
sign of a
different.
parent. I never treated my children the same. Each one is different. And yeah.
Yes. My love for him, it wasn't pushing back. I had to stay on him.
Okay.
I had to stay.
You couldn't
on
fall back, as the
I
young
couldn't.
people say.
I had
Yep.
to give. And I think I just never gave up. I never gave up. And
All
I
right.
still won't today.
I promise this is the last one. I said that 2 questions ago. To that mother,
And I'm not perfect.
none of us are.
Not perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
I have sinned. I've turned my life around. I go to Morning Star on Sunday.
Shout out to Bishop Borders.
Yes, he's the best. He gets through to me.
Yes, ma'am.
And yes, I just wanted a better life for Nation. I wanted it because I knew it was in him.
No, hold on, because the Cuddy did not come out. Mother said Nation. Mother, and there's a couple of brothers on right now that I know are watching and really inspired by just his story and then listening to you as well. At some point we may have to. Nika, thank you for the affirmation. When she said you was coming, when we were texting about you coming on, she talked about we need to have a mother's session like this. We'll talk. Mother, thank you for coming. We put you on the spot. Thank you for coming. Your nails look wonderful. Thank you for coming on the camera. And we appreciate it. And thank you for what you've done with this young man, because you don't know who's going to see this, what mother right now is making the decision to or not to go to court to support her son. You don't know what son is going to look up tomorrow and see his mother there because she listened to you today. Yes. We don't know the impact of this reach. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And the impact, but the impact and the impact of looking up and seeing a family member there. I ain't never been there, but I done heard enough stories and just the support. Anyway, we'll be following up.
Thank you.
Thank you, mother. What do you do? Like what the ballet, hip hop, jazz? What's the old thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you do the Sierra type dance?
I do. Okay. Janet Jackson, Chris
the knot is giving me ballet. You know he gonna be in town soon.
She's going though.
Yeah. You making sure she going?
That's her passion. Yeah, that's her passion, man. Dancing.
Thank you.
Mother says time to go. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, mother. But the bun on top does make her look like she's doing ballet. Listen, folks, we're going to get ready to wrap up in a second.
Thank you too, man.
You're welcome. I'm doing better at saying accepting flowers and saying, thank you. And you're welcome.
Appreciate the opportunity. You know what I mean?
Man,
like I said, I want to build with up and coming people anyway. I'd rather that than 94.5. You know what I mean? We started from the bottom. You know what I mean? Jesus. Now we here. I mean, and like
we started from here.
Yeah.
To bruh. But when you just talked about
even like with Instagram and stuff, like I find like celebrities, they don't follow people back. So I made it my oath to anybody I ever meet, I'm gonna follow back. Just to make them feel like now I'm rich in blood. You know what I mean? Like, because people don't follow people back. And it's weird. Like, it's just a click of a button. You know what I mean?
Don't get in these last couple of minutes, don't get me to fussing, because we talked about before we went live that for folks in this space like us, them likes, them shares, this is our business. This is what we do. Social media. I mean, I don't think you need any, he just blowing up. But no, I'm saying the more the merrier. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And even today, I need my followers. Y'all go in. And so what's your never mind. Hold on. Like I gotta ask. I need y'all to go to Instagram and follow at RICHN. No.
RICHINBLOOD. Rich in blood. All one word.
You did not make me sound like I went to BPS and spelled the whole thing. I just didn't know whether it was the N and the IN. Okay, so at Rich in Blood, just how it sounds. On Instagram and website. Rich in Blood.
Website's Rich in Blood. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and Cuddy Warp. I'm on Facebook.
And
Cuddy Warp. CUDDYWOP. Yep.
On Facebook. This was, I knew, when you came in, and timing for me is everything. This has been an idea minimally. You mentioned, I don't remember, and don't chalk it up to nothing but being 53.
Because I don't know how we met though.
I don't. Yeah. For me,
I thought it was because of Nika though.
It could be, and we didn't even get to talk about that. Nika and just that whole thing. But this mother's thing,
that'd be dope.
And yes, Ma, you will be part of the mother's conversation. I know eventually I'm going to get a text or a comment
I feel like
talk
with
about
the mother's thing. I feel like you should have like a JP like a whole bunch of people from JP come in.
It
Then
would be mixed.
look.
Well, there's two of them.
Then look,
Ours.
then Roxbury, then Dorchester.
Now
then
you got me doing a whole
that's
series.
but that's a good
It
idea.
is a good idea, but
for the females who's dealing with troubled kids, the teenagers, you know what I mean? Where they come in, they talk.
with the
know what I
mother,
mean?
let me ask you a challenging question.
That could be like a mother's group. you
It
know
could
what
be
I
a
mean?
mother's group, definitely.
That's
but I'm
dope,
gonna ask you a challenging question, and now the producer, the tech guy, is in me. With the mothers, for us that are in it, it's different from neighborhood to neighborhood.
Mhm.
But with the mothers at their level, with their nurturing and what's needed, I wouldn't say it would need. Hold on. Would you say we do it citywide? Because from each neighborhood to each neighborhood with us, it displays itself differently. But when it comes to the skills of mothers and experiences, though they may differ in some hoods, would you do it? I think it can tour, but we may not have to in JP. Or if we do it in JP, obviously there's going to be. Anyway, we can talk about
No,
this.
but that's dope, though.
I think
Section of JP females, a section of Dorchester females. You know what I mean?
Make
'Cause
it
they can all
citywide.
can relate. They live
Yeah.
in Dorchester, Jamaica.
Mika's doing a
Plain, you know what I
group,
mean?
so between the group and
That'd be
also
nice.
we panel it or something, because the we don't have when you said there are fathering programs,
Mhm.
there are a lot of fathering programs out there.
But ain't no
There may
female
be
program.
some mothering, maybe, but it's a belief that every mother has an innate being to being a mother. What's the thing? There's a dad, there's a daddy, and then there's a father. With all due respect, so I'll say it both. Men can have the ability to produce the children. Women can have the ability to carry, and it does not necessarily mean they have the capacity from birth to get. Mother sitting over there going. So yeah, we the only other thing, and you understand this, I'm pushing back a little bit because I'm thinking about the logistics, I'm thinking about the planning, I'm thinking about the carrying all this stuff. But winter's coming. We can do some virtual stuff when folks are in the house. And so Nika mentioned this yesterday. Listening to you, seeing him is an example. And yes, Ma, you will be part of the mother's conversation as my mother, Mama Java.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah.
Anyway, when you two see each other, you'll probably recognize Mama's a little bit. I love you, Ma. All right, we're going to get ready to wrap up. You all, please go follow this brother on IG. Also on Facebook as well. The Cuddy Wop is like his name. IG is, all together for our seniors. So please make sure you go and follow him. And when you hear about the backpack event, and make sure you get me the flyer, whatever, and I'll make sure I share it. And you'll more than likely be back. Mother definitely will.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. Mother's definitely. No, I'm messing.
I
I'm
appreciate
messing,
the
man.
support
No,
too.
man.
Worldwide with the people buying the brand, the clothes. I really, really appreciate that support. You know what I mean? Boston, Brockton, New Bedford, Cape Cod, you know what I mean? New York, Las Vegas, California, DC, Philly, New Jersey. Yeah, I appreciate the love, you know what I mean? And like I said, when you start a business, whatever you do, don't never depend on family and friends to support you. Just keep going. Because I feel like,
we got to cover our moms.
I feel like my first $1 million is gonna come from strangers. I always felt like that. Like, you know what I mean? Because those are the ones who supports me. Like people I just meet and they just love the brand. And then I tell them a little bit about my life story and they just go crazy with it. But yeah, I appreciate everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We do share some commonalities around the entrepreneur stuff because it's the hustle and y'all see this.
Oh, that's
you
another
see the
thing
final
too.
product.
I wanted to before we leave.
Go ahead.
I think this Rich in Blood, it comes from like Hood's DVD. I don't know if you're familiar with Hood's
Back
DVD.
in the day?
So Hood's DVD, that's my godfather, right?
That was Boston?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my godfather.
Your
So
god sister, somebody was in here too, Latasha.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's family. But Hood's DVD brought me everywhere. We seen all the stars, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Backstage, all that.
So that's where I kind of get that energy from.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because
The
we didn't been everywhere. I didn't drunk Chris Style. I don't talk about it, but people know. I didn't drunk Chris Style with Birdman back when I was coming up.
Birdman.
Oh
God. Yeah.
I didn't been to, even though people talking bad about Meech, I didn't been to BMF parties with Hood's DVD. Like I didn't met everybody with Hood's DVD. So I feel like with this Rich in Blood, I get that energy. it made me feel like Hood's DVD again. Cause you know, that's when I was a teenager, 16, 17, 18, 19.
You loved your teens, huh?
I mean, my teens was everything.
Look. You see his face pop up?
I feel you. My teens, and like
So
I said, I'm not
cool?
trying to be cocky. I'm just confident. My teens was everything.
It's like a kid
but my
again.
adult years is everything too. You know what I mean? Because I'm traveling the world. I'm being in places I never thought I'd be. You know what I mean? And it's just like I gotta do it. I gotta keep going.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, my
hold on. One thing there. The gotta keep going in the Grussel and the Hind. The Grussel and the Hind. The hustle and mother's over there. Got me excited. Keep going and whatnot. We didn't go into your self-care. You said you talked to your mother. Health-wise, you take care of yourself?
I work out. Yeah, I work out. I do a little bit. You know what I mean? I do.
What about nutrition, sleep? Because grinding.
I don't really sleep that much. I'll be real with you. I kind of sleep with one eye open. You know what I mean? I need
see how his mother is looking at him, y'all.
I kind of I don't get that much sleep. It's weird. I really don't.
We need to do better with that.
Yeah, with sleep. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
I didn't want to put that, but me too. I've been scheduling that for about 2 years. So mind y'all business. I had to, when you said the why am I mixing it up? The hustle and the grind. That is an entrepreneur, and it's good, it's respected, but this sometimes can be stressful. From a late order
that's true.
to maybe getting too many orders is a good thing. But when you mentioned that, I had to check in on that.
No,
so we covered everything. I kept you longer. Hope that's not an issue.
No, that's cool.
But this was definitely good. I just wanted to share a couple of comments with you. Il Neil, who's a DJ, I don't know if you know him. He said strangers are the best supporters. Other folks are in here like Latosh. Hey, Godmother. Tasha. Is this Tasha? Not Joe. What's Tasha's last name? Thompson. Yes, my homie from back in the day. She said, hey, Godmother and God brother. I call him Reginald. Reggie Santos was in here as well. And some of the comments on here, I'm not going to mention my mother's and them's comments because they from praying for you that God kept you until now. All right, we'll give mother a couple of them. My mother said, keep your head up.
Thank you.
Dina says she just followed you. Keith said just the button about the like and share. Keith, I know I owe you follow up. We're going to make it happen. Dina said, this was powerful. Love seeing the positivity. Drop the clothing line information. Dina just followed. So Dina, you have it now. Her daughter, Times Square, Anita, is a model. Dina, you and I was struggling. You and Cuddy need to y'all need to connect. She editorials, all of that. She's dope. So definitely, if you and Anita hook up, everybody, and to Mother Keith said, to your point, great point, Mom. You can't coddle wrong. So I'm going to get to the other ones that the mother wanted to hear. Hold on. At least one of them. There's a lot in here. All right, one more just for you. Black men need other black men, but we need the black men who live the street life to tell the young black men that we bought into a lifestyle that's a lie. We don't have to pick up a pack, bust a gun, have multiple babies, mamas. It's okay to have a job and be married and have kids. So this is Keith really went in. That's the thing. Carlton's in here too. I'm not going to tell you. Well, he typed it, so it's public. He was like Cuddles. Cubs and Jesus Lord, it's dope. My brother Milton, it moves in this space, and he knows about this, and he's going to be on Thursday. It'd be great for y'all to meet. Waking up in the hospital bed with your mother staring at you was something that I will never forget. That's the point that I wanted to make sure, and I know Milton knows this, and you probably know it as well. But seeing this public display of, bro, it's not just you. And there's two brothers saying that while that's good, mother don't necessarily have to come and be by your hospital bed. You know what I'm saying? So and we'll wind up being here for another hour. Mother, I'm trying to find the church comments. I mean, hold on. They're in here. Real Boston Media was in here today too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, where they all go? Well, mother, you on Facebook. Go follow James W. Hills and you can come. Oh Jesus, they gonna get in there and you go to Morningstar too.
I'll give you the thing.
I got you, mother.
Yeah.
We're gonna get off camera, y'all. We got to get ready to go. It's over. On the so they want the website. Hold on, let's get the hyperlink because they want to buy right now. Richinblood.com.
Yeah. Or you can find me on,
I spelled it wrong. Dina's not playing. This is the mom of the model I was telling you about. Rich in Blood. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. Come on.
Did you say her name was Dina?
Yeah, Deanna. She's, if it's on Instagram. Wait a minute. Hold on. I had to make sure my internet was still working. Make sure I paid the bill. It's richinblood.com.
Yeah.
It's not coming up. Rich. Look, I got to make sure. RICHINBLOOD. Okay. We'll make sure, Dina. I'll text it to you. I'll get it from him.
You'll text it to her.
Okay, I'll get it directly to you, and then I'll post it. She said the same thing, not coming up. So I know how that is. Sometimes we have folks doing our stuff and they don't do what they're supposed to do. No comment. All right, we're going to get off of here because I'm going to start getting in trouble. You all have a wonderful day. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow morning, brother, I got you, man. Tomorrow morning, don't forget to join us at 10 a.m. We have Rochelle Solomon and Thaddeus Miles that will come in as a partner of the Boston Waterfront Coalition to get ready for the 5K Road to Wellness race. Then on Thursday morning, we have basically some kin to Cuddy, another brother that is actually Nika's brother, that has a brand called Grow Rich Apparel, but also he see, look at that love and support and yo, you two need, when you said something about the tree and the branch, his logo is a tree.
I mean, family though. Yeah,
that's why when you two, yo, it's going to be dope. Just make sure, get a brother extra large. But no, that's going to be dope. He's coming in on Saturday at 10 a.m. and then Milton and Mario are coming in on Thursday night. Oh, I put a wrong screen on. They're coming in Thursday night at 8 p.m. And then don't forget, on Saturday morning, we're live from the Museum of Science at 10 a.m. and Dart Adams will be my guest there for Jobbing with Jimmy live from the Museum of Science. So I'm already tired. That's it. We'll see y'all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Have a great day, everybody.